What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Hill Shadows Podcast. I'll be your host, Jeremiah, and
Ashley.
I have Ashley here with me this evening. Hope everybody's having a wonderful week. It's been an awesome week for us. Happy Halloween, everybody. It's that season. We got a very special episode tonight. An episode on one of the creepiest cryptids possibly out there. It's the DOGMAN. And I'm going to go ahead and let Ashley give you a brief introduction, but we're not going to get into that just yet. Well, let's talk about a couple other things. We went to the Halloween hoedown last night, right?
Yeah.
That was cool. I have a little bit of footage, and I'll throw that in. Why not? I can throw some of that in, right? It's not going to be too much trouble. We're going to have this video. If I don't, I will have a separate video altogether where you can go check that out at.
We went on a hike today, too.
And we're going to have that. There's a part that I want to put in that she does not want me to put in. And I feel like it's a valuable piece.
It's not.
To the video.
It's not.
I feel like it's good content. It's real. I mean, it's not anything
Me
crazy, really.
Falling and getting hurt is not
That crazy.
anything valuable.
It's funny, and
It's not.
I was able to help you, so.
Whatever.
But yeah, so there's a lot
cool
of
stuff, though.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much because I want you guys to watch it, but
Not really cool. I shouldn't say cool. It was.
interesting.
Yeah.
Strange.
It was
strange stuff. And how we came across it was quite interesting too.
Yeah.
Like I said, we did film today, and also was filming last night at the Halloween hoedown in Richmond, Kentucky. It was crazy busy.
Yeah.
We've been there several other times for Halloween, and there was literally a line around the block. It was very crazy. We didn't even get to go through everything or take our kids through everything. Like, they were shutting it down. So we were actually pretty lucky we got to take any part in it. It was very overcrowded. I think I say this all the time. It's just more people and not any more space. So
Yeah.
it's creating problems. But a lot of Halloween movies, a lot of scary stuff coming out. I think one thing that you and I watched together that I was very impressed with was Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you guys
Like the
know
newer
this or
seasons
not,
of it?
but
There was a couple
on
episodes.
Netflix, as of, I don't know, this month sometime, they just dropped a brand new season of Unsolved Mysteries. That's right, the do all that. I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to strike, but yeah, it's phenomenal. There's a couple episodes that are just really
They were good.
focused in on the strange and the paranormal, and they did a good job just covering all the bases, in my opinion. I mean, you got one episode that's focused kind of on one single UFO sighting event. And I say event because a lot of people seen it, and it was a huge thing that happened across
94.
the Great Lakes in 1994.
March
And that's
3rd.
an awesome episode. And an even,
March 8th.
in my opinion, an even better episode was the Paranormal Rangers.
Yeah, that was
That
good.
was about these guys that were
good.
cops on a
They were rangers.
on an Indian
But assigned
reservation,
to-
right?
I think they were rangers, but they were assigned to, like,
Right.
especially,
Right.
the two people just got specific cases that were strange, unexplained, paranormal.
Yeah, they
in some
started
sense.
getting so many calls for weird stuff. The
Yeah.
sergeant or whatever took those two guys and was like, "I'm gonna."
Well, there was a complaint.
right, yeah, because they
that-
didn't look into a
Yeah,
Bigfoot
that people
sighting.
weren't looking. Yeah, like there was like 30 cases or sightings of a Bigfoot that
I
hadn't
mean,
been actually investigated because, like, I mean,
And
most people take it as
just
a
so
joke.
you guys know, these guys talk about, in particular, skinwalkers,
Yeah.
Bigfoot,
Mhm.
Ghosts or poltergeists.
Yeah.
And UFOs, I believe. They
Yeah,
see
there
some
are actually
UFO
two
activity.
guys that have been seen
Right.
quite a bit in, the paranormal side of the world.
But it was really interesting, and these
To be
guys
honest.
have seen some things. You guys want to watch that and check
Yeah, it was
out.
good.
I don't know if you have a Netflix subscription, but it's almost worth it to get one just to watch.
was
I mean,
good.
it's some of the best stuff I've, like, literally I was kind of fascinated. Like, I get really disappointed with documentaries and things because a lot of people just do the same old thing over and over again, and it's rarely intriguing, and I rarely walk away feeling like I had more than I
Right.
came to, you know.
Not satiated in any way.
Yeah, I don't get anything from them.
Yeah.
And that, I was just thoroughly satisfied.
It was
like,
good.
Okay.
I didn't want it to be over.
Yeah, it really puts a damper on anything else out right now, because once you watch something that good, you really don't want to watch anything subpar after that. And it's just another thing I want to bring up. It's not anything true, but it has to do with Halloween and scary shows, and it's just, in my opinion, it's well written, and it tries to creep you out, and it does a great job of it. And that's it's also on Netflix, and that's The Cabinet of Curiosities.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a good show.
By Guillermo del Toro. And
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of his as far as his, like, I know he has some stuff to do with Hellboy. Like, he came up with all the designs for the monsters and stuff like that. So I've always been a fan. And also Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Like the little monster that has the eyeballs in the sand or whatever. Or like this, I guess. But I've been a huge fan of all that stuff. And he really knocks it out the park with all the same kind of stuff. The designs and everything. But also the writing is very, very interesting. It kind of... And it does what it's supposed to. It wants to scare you, and it uses all the audio and visual that it can to drive it home.
Was that Netflix as well?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, there were supposed to be, I think, 8 of them. There were
there's
4
a new
out,
one today,
and there were,
I believe.
I think maybe 2 more yesterday and 2 more today, something like that.
Okay.
So we're behind, I think, 4 at this point. So I do want to catch up on those. Then also, you've got American Horror Story as a new season. I'm kind of blah on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I've watched every episode, and I want to know what's going on.
Right. Same here.
I don't know.
I'm just...
They aren't as...
It seems like it's a bandwagon a lot of people are on right now, I feel like.
I mean, they used to be really good in a different way.
Right. I agree. Like, I was just talking to you the other day about the Freak Show one. Like
that was good.
That one, it left something with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I even
every
liked the
Halloween,
comment too. It was okay.
Like, I think about that particular season, and that's rare to have something that well done. But it was just creepy enough where it sticks with you. I think that some of those Cabinet of Curiosities will be that way. Like, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I love Halloween time, and it's almost over, you know?
Yeah.
It's the only thing about Halloween is once it gets here, it's gone. So. But, kids got a good amount of candy at the Halloween.
Yeah.
Was it
and our sweet little girl took it to school and let all the kids in her class have all of it.
I couldn't believe that.
Every bit. She didn't bring any of it home.
I couldn't believe
really
it.
sweet. She is a sweet kid.
Also, before we move on,
okay,
I just want to take a brief moment of silence for Willow, our daughter's guinea pig, that passed away yesterday after school. So we miss you, Willow. Yeah, that was pretty rough. So you guys just take a moment, pray for our family as we go through this time of grieving. Our daughter did really take it pretty hard, and I understand why. You know,
she's done everything.
It's a heavy burden, and sometimes reach those points where there's nothing you can do. But yeah, enough sadness. And guys, if you're into the strange and paranormal, unexplainable, you are at the right place. I got a few things for you. I know Ashley's got some stuff for you. Tonight's episode, as you probably know by this point, is a DOGMAN episode. Because DOGMAN are crazy. We're into Bigfoot, and I love Bigfoot as much as the next person. But
Recently, I've been listening to a lot of
I think
like
Dogman
encounters with Dogman.
gets overlooked a lot. I think it does. And I don't think it gets enough attention.
I think it has been.
You think lately?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some people that are bringing some attention to it. That's a good thing. I'll let you go ahead and get started. I know you was wanting to get into a little bit of the backstory about.
Not necessarily wanting to get into it. I just figured
right.
I mean,
Well,
I think it's important to what it is.
Right, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And I do believe that we've already said this before, but if you didn't hear the last time we talked about Dogman, it's Michigan folklore.
Right.
The Michigan Dogman was allegedly witnessed in 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan. The creature is described as a 7-foot tall, blue-eyed or amber-eyed bipedal canine-like animal with the torso of a man and a fearsome howl that sounds like a human scream. According to legends, the Michigan Dogman appears in a 10-year cycle that falls on years ending in 7. Sightings have been reported in several locations throughout Michigan, primarily in the northwestern quadrant of the Lower Peninsula. In 1987, the legend of the Dogman gained popularity when disc jockey Steve Cook at the WTCM FM recorded a song about the creature and its reported sightings. Yeah, I mean, that's
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it started in Michigan.
You could read more on what they have on Wikipedia, but
well,
I mean, yeah.
I have a newspaper article. I also found a couple of unique little encounters on Reddit. Nothing that's really too long, but guys, I will leave the links to anything I find that I'm sharing with you guys. I'll leave the links in the description. I'll go ahead and read this newspaper article, this is a kind of new article. It really is news because it's new, and this comes from the Midland Daily News, and the title is "Michigan Trucker Believes He Shot the Dogman."
Okay.
And this article is by Angela Malka, and she's the staff writer at this newspaper, and this was published October 5th this year, so just a couple weeks ago. So, 'tis the season of the eerie and unexplained. The legends and other shared tales told around campfires and passed down from generation to generation to inspire terror or to warn others of malevolent creatures that may live among us. One Michigan truck driver traveling through the Manistee National Forest 5 years ago had an experience with the creature at the heart of one of the state's most popular urban legends, the Michigan Dogman, and it changed his life forever. Trucker Joe Barger, 59, recently recounted his story to the host of the YouTube channel What Lurks Beneath, which tells stories about the mysterious and supernatural with 342,000 subscribers. The video featuring Barger's interview was posted to the channel September 12, 2022 and has close to 150,000 views.
Okay.
Even if you don't believe what I'm saying is truthful, it might be something you can draw on in the future in case you ever do have an experience with the Dogman, which is an advantage I never had, Barger said in the video. He explained he thinks it's important for Michigan residents to be aware of what he saw. Barger, a 6-year Army veteran, was transporting a 43,000-pound load of paper from a mill in northern Michigan through the forest on his typical route when he encountered the Dogman on an evening in June. He said he had never heard of the cryptid before the incident, which took place within 15 to 20 seconds at most. I would swear, as a Christian on a Bible, that this is all 100% factual truth, Barger said in the video. Leading up to the encounter, Barger realized while driving he had an air leak. Wanting to fix it before he got too far into the forest, he stopped to look at it. He found the air leak by the back brake chamber on the trailer. With the materials to fix it, Barger positioned himself underneath the trailer and began to get a bad feeling. I was hearing a vocalization that wasn't natural, Barger said in the video. It wasn't a sound I'd ever heard before. I was looking around and I saw some shadowing in the woodline, but there was plenty of light to see. It was nowhere near getting dark yet. I was in bear country, so I perceived the shadowing to be a black bear at the time. When he realized he could be near a black bear, Barger got back into the truck and checked out the air, which was good to go. It held and took me not even 5 minutes to fix, Barger said in the video. The woods continued to give Barger a bad feeling, but he thought everything was normal until he started driving again. He checked his driver's side mirror for any traffic on the 2-lane road at the bottom of the hill. There was no traffic. As he started going up the hill and looked in his right side mirror, he saw it was darker than it should be. There was a wolf head the size of my window, and my windows were down, Barger said in the video. He was trotting along next to me, and I was about 20 to 25 miles per hour at that point. And he was stooping down on 2 legs, looking down inside of my cabin. I'm at 9 feet tall in my seat. His hands were coming up, scratching my windowsill. On my door handle, I could hear his claws. Time slowed down, Barger continued in the video. I thought I was in like an alternate reality or something, because a creature like this don't exist in a reality I've ever known of, Barger continued in the video. I've heard of Bigfoot, and I know those to be something that is talked about. This is a whole different thing altogether. Bigfoot has nothing on the DOGMAN, according to Barger. Bigfoot might have something else to say about that, I don't know. It has a lot of sharp teeth, and the teeth on this thing were like brilliant white, Barger said. 3-inch long fangs, bottom and top. Pure black pointed ears. It had yellow eyes with human-like hands probably 14 inches across. It was at least 10 feet tall from how it was stooping into my cabin. His yellow eyes were darting all over the place and looking at me. How this creature looked was mad and determined to get me, Barger continued in the video. He was sneering. He wasn't making any noises vocally, but the looks he was giving me and the intelligence in his eyes was telling me, I'm here to get you and there's nothing you can do about it. Barger thought about trying to roll up the window, but he decided to focus on keeping the truck on the road. That is when he remembered his handgun. Barger pulled his .45 Colt strapped to his waist and took 2 shots at the creature. He instantly went down, Barger said. I was looking at him as he was sliding into the weeds. I was at almost point-blank range, so I'm pretty sure I got him through the eye orbit. His head was huge. Everything on this animal was black, except his teeth and his eyes. I wasn't really panicked, but it's the scaredest I've ever been in my life. Barger, assuming the creature to be dead, wanted to turn around and check out the carnage to make sure he didn't lose his mind.
Oh my God.
About a mile up the road, he found a spot large enough to turn his truck around in. I wanted to make sure I killed it, he said in the video. I wanted to know more about what just occurred. As Barger was coming back down the hill at almost 5 minutes after shooting it, it was gone. In its place was a Jeep and 2 people. Barger said he was concerned about people being somewhere potentially dangerous, so he stopped to talk to them. They gave me a story that they were watching a few bears fighting each other. I was worried about them being outside or what had just happened, but I didn't want to let them know what I had just done, so I left. Barger thinks because the other people saw claimed to have been 2 bears that maybe there could be more dogmen in the area besides the one he shot. I was really in shock for a good while, Barger said in the video. I was still driving the truck and I didn't even know how I got back. I shouldn't have been driving the truck in this state of mind, but I wasn't going to stay around or park anywhere near there. It was the most terrifying thing I think anybody could go through. Worse than even any combat situation, because at least you know what you're dealing with there. Barger had nightmares for 6 months to a year on and off. The nightmares got less prevalent as time went on, and he doesn't deal with them anymore. I'm in a lot better shape now, and I thought it was important to get this information out. That's why my story is out now. It just took me this long to get with the right people that I know have my back. Additionally, Barger claims the federal government is keeping the existence of the Dogman quiet. After I got better from the nightmares, I had a family member tell me I should get this out to the public, Barger said in the video. So I talked to one podcaster that is popular in the cryptid space. I didn't want to be out there publicly, so he took notes and narrated my story about 4 years ago. 3 months later, Barger said he was detained at a scale house by state police to wait for federal authorities. When they first showed up, they were very intimidating and angry, he said in the video. I didn't know what was going on. They said you killed one of our assets, and this is how things are going to go down. Barger knew the only thing he killed in the last year was the creature. This was their property, and they were mad that I killed it. And they were trying to get me to stop talking about it. They probably knew who I was from the narration story. In the video, Barger said the federal authorities threatened him, confiscated his gun, and shut his bank account off for some time. I stopped talking about it until recently, he said. This is probably another tool in their toolbox for military operations of some kind. And if they don't keep it under wraps, it won't be a useful tool anymore for them. The Dogman has been on the minds of Michiganders for the last 130 years, starting in 1887. That's when two lumberjacks saw a creature they described as having a man's body and a dog's head. According to legend, the Dogman appears to humans in a 10-year cycle that falls on years ending in the number 7, according to the Michigan History Center. Barger's encounter happened in 2017. That was a pretty good one.
How are they an asset? An asset to the government? Like,
you never know, man. Maybe they're gonna use them for military purposes.
So what? In the meantime, just let them go.
Let them go. I don't know. Maybe they. I've heard people say they have some type of chips in their head. Maybe they're controlled.
I've heard that.
I think it's very factual. The government does not want us to know about this, and there's two possibilities. They don't want us to know because it's just something they have no control over, and it's kind of like one of those things where if it's something they can't control, they're just gonna pretend it doesn't exist.
But if they're an asset to them, then they have some type of control over them.
If that is indeed true, then yeah, that would be the other.
They would have to. Of some sort.
They would have some control. Now, do you have a story you want to share, or do you want me to go ahead and?
Well, what I have is nowhere near as long.
Well,
or as
that was
detailed.
definitely the longer of my things. Like the other things I are very short.
I'll read
But
this
if you
little
want to
thing to
go
you.
ahead.
Okay, so mine is actually like it's like someone else had wrote this, but I'm not gonna read that part of it. I'm just gonna read like what the people that had the encounters had to say.
Okay.
Okay, and this person is from Ohio. I don't know where. It's not a lot of detail or anything. It's just I don't know. I'll read.
Okay.
So people need to be made aware of these things. They're as real as it gets, and they are dangerous. I've always loved nature. I love the woods. I love hiking and camping, fishing. On this occasion, I was by a lake for 15 minutes when all of a sudden this overwhelming feeling of dread came over me. That's how the guy said on the truck. I switched my headlamp on to turn around. To start back up the riverbank, and right behind a big sycamore tree, I saw what looked to be a very large animal kind of kneeling beside it. As I locked my eyes on it, I completely froze. I knew I was definitely seeing something there, but my mind couldn't process it. What I was looking at didn't make any effing sense. I kept saying to myself, animals aren't supposed to look like that. Right as I'm thinking this, it's as if this thing read my mind, stood up, and made itself perfectly visible. You know the monsters your parents told you weren't real and couldn't hurt you? I've heard of the Dogman before, but never really took it seriously. These things are perfectly adapted killing machines. The way the arms and legs looked, it looked like it was perfectly adapted to walk on all four legs, or all fours as well as on two legs. This experience has torn a huge hole in me. Yeah, so that's kind of how these ones are. And then there was
Right, that's a good one.
another person shared their experience, and this was from Georgia, and he'd been out rafting with his friends when he had to use the bathroom. Said when he stopped in a clearing. Wait, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, okay. When he stopped in a clearing, a genetically mixed entity of man, wolf, and primate suddenly stepped out. He added, I spent 21 years in the Army, all over the world, and in 3 different theaters of war. And I've barely slept at all since seeing this thing. An enormous canine-type creature. I can still taste the fear in my throat and my own vomit. I'm 6 foot tall and about 250 solid pounds, and this thing dwarfed me. At least 7 foot 6 and maybe 350 to 400 pounds. As a former college and semi-pro football player and powerlifter, I know about big people and about strength. And this was no normal creature that evolved somehow in environment. I can promise you, this is not something anyone would want to encounter twice.
Interesting.
What's it say? Another witness, a deputy sheriff, said, "There aren't many things in this world that scare me. Put simply, I've seen some shit in my days, but nothing prepared me for that night. I recall there was a search for a young man sucked into a storm drain, and I parked my cruiser at what I believe was the electric company storage yard. About 5 minutes passed before I hear a snorting, almost snipping around, a snipping sound coming from the other side of the tracks. I turned my light, and to this day wish I hadn't. It had pointed ears and a long muzzle, and it looked me right in the face before it bolted into the timber. It was not a mask, and it was not a person in a costume. Who would walk up on an armed man with a police radio in full uniform and risk getting shot? I remember it was surreal. So final, I guess. I know now, like, what's in the dark." Yeah, that's it.
That's pretty interesting. Those are some good encounters there. Another one that I'm not going to talk about tonight, but I don't really know too much about right off the top of my head, but it's the the land between the lakes.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Supposedly there was a family.
We've talked about that before.
Yeah, that was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to cover this thing up really good. But from what I've heard, supposedly it was done by one of these creatures. So they are dangerous. Don't think that this is something you can go play wood knocking games with out in the woods. It's not. This is not that. I would be careful doing that with Sasquatch, but
doing what?
You know, just the whole. I don't know, wood knocking. I feel that's probably safe.
I don't like any of that, honestly.
The whooping, you don't know what you're communicating with that.
I still just feel like if anything's there, when you do that, you're like, "Hey, I'm here. Don't come over here." That's what I feel like it does.
Yeah, but if you're in an area where you're dealing with some bear or something, you probably do want to make some noise.
Yeah, sure. But if you're out, you know, trying to look for some evidence, I don't know. Like, you should probably be quiet and see what happens. I don't know.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to make a little intro maybe that we can have for our videos, or maybe add something different each time. Like just, like I definitely think, you know, we're gonna be doing some filming outdoors periodically, so maybe we could throw that in there for a extra visual or something.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to experiment around with some stuff since we're doing the video now, so we can make it a little more interesting. Like maybe we could have segments where we do other things through the week and we just show them to people during the podcast. Right?
Okay. Maybe.
We'll see. If you guys have any suggestions, let us know. And as I always say, if you have any encounters you want to share with us, please let us know. You can email us at hillshadowsky@yahoo.com. And also, I just recently started a Twitter, or I'm sorry, not a Twitter, but a TikTok, where I'm doing just little 60-second, if not shorter, stories of strange events that have taken place. Nothing I haven't already shared here with you guys, but it's just something I'm trying to get to maybe drive more people to this channel. So, if you guys mess around with TikTok, it's Hill Shadows. Same here on YouTube. Just look us up on that, and yeah, make sure you check that out. And if you're into this kind of thing, hit the subscribe button, and if you like the video, hit the like button. And it would help us out if you hit the little notification bell too. I got one more little thing I'm gonna get into. This is from Reddit. It's under the subreddit of The Truth Is Here, and it's posted by the user Sinister Dwarf, And this comes from 8 years ago, so it's nothing real recent. And I'll just read this word for word. So I mentioned this earlier in a reply to something, then figured I might as well post it since I brought it up. I live in the northwestern side of Michigan, and we have this legend called the DOGMAN. It's basically like a werewolf type thing. You can read about it here for a more extensive explanation. It's just a little link to the Wikipedia thing on the Michigan DOGMAN. I was 9 years old when this happened. At that point, I still shared a room with my sister, and so my bed was on one wall with a big window on the opposite side. My sister's bed was right underneath that window. We were on the first floor of the house, but we live on a hill, so it's slanted, and it's still a pretty high window, 9 feet off the ground maybe. Anyway, I woke up one Saturday night feeling really thirsty. It was about 2 in the morning, and everyone else in my family was asleep. I was about to crawl out of my bed to go up to the bathroom, just down the hall, when I looked through the window and froze. At the very bottom of the window, there was a really dark shape. It looked kind of like a top part of a Siberian husky's head. It was a big thing with 2 points that looked like ears on the top. I couldn't make out any other features, so while I was still scared at first, I just thought it was a reflection of the pillows at the end of my sister's bed. And then it moved. You know how dogs kind of twitch their ears and perk them up when they're trying to hear better? That's what this thing did. The 2 points that I took for ears twitched and then came back into place. And it wasn't a subtle movement at all, so I knew it wasn't just a reflection. The Dogman story is really big here, and we live right in the woods, so I immediately thought of that. I got really scared then, so I did the typical kid thing and pulled the covers over my head and went back to sleep without getting my water. In the morning, there was nothing outside the window, and no marks on the side of the house or anything. No evidence that there had been something there at all. The thing that really stumps me is wondering how anything would manage to stay up by a window that's 9 feet off the ground in the first place. Since I was 9, I do accept that it was possible I just imagined it. I already knew the Dogman story, so maybe I was just scared to begin with, and that fear kind of manifested itself like that. At the same time, I really do believe that there was something outside that window, Dogman or not. So, I'm going to leave that one as I do with everything with you guys and take from it what you will. But, yeah.
I can understand that, though. There have been things that, like, I've questioned myself, too. Because nobody else saw, and it's just, is this in fact what I saw? Like, am I...
Well, also, your brain will try for the longest time to come up with a rational explanation. No matter how irrational the thing you're looking at could be, right? So,
I mean, there's been a couple things that, had you not been there, or our youngest daughter been there, to...
The black triangle, that's
not even just that, before that, at the time when it looked like the heavens opened and, like, you know what I mean? Like that light that came out. I don't know if you all hadn't seen that too. Like, I wouldn't. I don't know. I'd question my sanity. Like, so what's happening here? But yeah, it makes me feel better that you were there with one specific.
My phone gets on.
It's doing something crazy, huh?
Yeah, I know it lost the connection. I'm trying to control a GoPro with the camera with my phone. I don't know if it's working. It is working, but I don't know that I'm able to. I think I might have lost it on the...
It's fine.
Yeah, oh well. It is what it is. Anyway, do you got anything else you want to share tonight or talk about? It's Halloween. It's just that... that time of the year,
I mean, I wanted to, but I don't really have anything in particular.
I've got one more little thing that I've got pulled up I could share. It's not really even detailed. It's kind of like if somebody would have just made little post notes on something.
Okay.
But it is about Dogman, and That's what this episode is about. So I'll get into it before we get out of here tonight and let you guys enjoy your Halloween weekend. Before I do, I encourage you to share this video with a friend if you like it. This is very useful information, and I think it's important that we get this information out here. And also, I would really like to share some encounters from you guys if you have any experiences you want to share. And to get those to us, all you got to do is email us at hillshadowsky@yahoo.com, and we'll share your encounter on a future episode. And send those encounters. I want to hear about it. You guys have seen some crazy stuff. I want to hear about it. I want to share it with people because it's vital information, and people need to hear this. You know, these things are really living out here among us and pretty much side by side with us. And for people who go out into nature, right, it's something you got to worry about.
Well, on a 7-year cycle or a 10-year cycle, it is.
I'm not talking necessarily about DOGMAN, but there are, you know, as far as crawlers, wendigos, there are other things you got to worry about besides DOGMAN.
Evidently.
But this being a DOGMAN episode, and it's seeing that we're not on a year ending in 7. I think we're good for another 5 years, right?
Yeah, 4.
Right,
what are we at? Well, I mean, basically, we're 23.
Cycle. We're in the middle of the 10-year cycle.
It's just 4 years. We're almost at the beginning of 23. I mean, we're a few months away.
Personally, I don't think DOGMAN is going to care what year it is, but there could be something.
How do you know?
Anyway, I'm going to get into this last one, and this comes from Reddit as well, and this is this is titled "From an In a Woods Thread, DOGMAN in the Ozarks." So clearly this is about a DOGMAN that's been sighted in the Ozarks. I will leave the links to all this stuff in the description. And this one's not like well written out. I'm just going to read it the way it is. It's basically like somebody was jotting down notes. And that's just how I'm going to do it. I'll do my best to piece it together as best I can. But basically it says, here's my buddy's story for when he encountered the Ozark DOGMAN. His words, not mine. So basically it says, be going on an inner woods trip, be on his grandfather's land, which is 500 plus acres of land. It's heavily wooded, and it's like a note to grab SKS, grab AK, grab the guns. We're going to this place camping, right? So headed in the woods, arrive and trek up there to location for camping. Arrive and set up camp, just mucking about, stalker LARPing. While cooking, he said they noticed a slight stink, shook it off, but it kept progressing. Smell eventually gets unbearable. Friend has an idea, puts on an M40 gas mask. Doesn't help, and eventually almost vomits in mask. Said the smell was moving in a circle. Eventually it dissipated and they tried to sleep. Gripping their I don't know what that is. They hear noises and the smell arrives again, alongside with heavy movement. They set up and have guns on the ready. They see a large dark figure moving quite fast around them in the woods. It gets close and they realize it's a large black wolf dog. It gets really close and the friend shoots at this thing. So we'll see what happens after this. The dog moves fast away and it gets lit up with the muzzle flash, much larger than expected, and they are freaked out. The dog ran around them in a circle, all the while they were trying to put a round on target. Eventually the dog stops and they ran out of ammo. They said by this point that they lost the dog. They got reloaded, took a look around. Friend turned on his headlamp and starts searching after the figure. And they saw the figure and it stood up on 2 legs from all 4s. It lurched towards them and revealed itself into the light. The creature was the stereotypical DOGMAN werewolf proportionally. But the head was what he really described in detail. He said the head was that of a dog and looked like pick related.
What?
Okay, so I've got
Oh.
I will include this picture. I'll make sure I go ahead and save this right now to put. You'll be looking at it as I'm talking. But yeah, there's a picture included. Basically hairless and in some places fleshless, like it was infected with some skin disease.
Oh.
It was panting and staring at them, and it started lurching and wobbling towards them. He said that it shook side to side while it walked, very unnervingly,
Ugh.
more than a creepy zombie dog. They ran and were shooting behind themselves.
I thought
As
they were out of
they
ammo.
ran. They reloaded.
Oh.
Friend's friend turned and dumped into the general area of the creature, so I'm guessing he's just emptying shells. Alright, so just a few more lines. Solid few thumps. Creature stopped and lowered itself and howled. Said it sounded identical to the one in American Werewolf in London. They ran back to the grandpa's place, ran inside, and startled the grandfather. He asked my friend, WTF was up. He told him that they were shooting at raccoons and possums. Grandfather looked at him like he knew. Grandfather owns over 100 guns for various reasons, but the creature he thinks is the main one, that was my friend's story. So that's all of that one, and that's a pretty interesting little encounter.
Why was
there,
it just like a little
honestly.
bullet point? Like, you know what I mean? Like, instead of like a story, like, why is it just a little.
I don't know. Like I said, like little ideas jotted down or something. Pretty weird.
Oh.
But hey, that's some Dogman encounters. What do you guys think about the Dogman? And what's your favorite cryptid? What do you think? I personally, I gotta say, I gotta go with Bigfoot.
Now, that's my favorite for sure. But I do
And
love a good scary dogman story.
if I had to have a runner-up, there's something about these crawlers that really
yeah?
fascinates me. I don't know if it's
Yeah, runner up for me
dolphin
is going to be just
skin.
alien in general, extraterrestrial.
but a
Extraterrestrial.
close draw is a skinwalker.
That scares me, Skinwalker, and it's
Well, because that means there would be people that are indeed changing
right.
into
We're
animals.
walking among whatever they are.
Some of y'all got secrets out there.
Evidently.
Don't let
That's
me find
crazy.
out. Don't let me find.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna get 8,
I probably will.
probably.
Anyway, that's all I got tonight, and this has been our 22nd episode. So thanks for sticking around for 22 weeks at least. Probably, I mean, it's probably been a couple weeks we missed. So
Couple.
22 weeks, give or take a week or two. We thank you guys for sticking around, and I try to keep everything on our channel in playlists. So, you know, like I said, this is our 22nd episode. If you want to check out some of the other ones, we do have another Dogman episode that's back from our earlier episodes, and it's a pretty good one. And you guys can check that out. These encounters that we share tonight will not be on there. These are all new stuff. We always find new things. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. I think we're gonna get out of here. It's Friday night. We gotta work tomorrow. I mean, it's bad, but it's good. The money's good, and the work, you know,
Alright.
could be worse. But yeah, we're gonna enjoy our Halloween weekend. I hope you guys do the same, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.